Okay, and I think we are.
Okay. Put it into Instagram. Hey everybody, we're finishing up loading up our electronics and getting everything going. Stick with us.
Hello.
Hey Crystal. Is it gonna echo or are we good?
I think.
Crystal, is our audio okay up there? We've got it really going. We have a few devices going, so please hang with us, everybody, while we get it figured out. Someday we will have troubleshooted everything that could possibly go wrong and it happens smoothly, right? Yay!
Okay, how's that?
Crystal says Instagram online.
Sounds good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good. Who's here? Can you tell me if you can hear the audio? Kathleen Spirit, Marilyn. I think we're good. If YouTube, then maybe that was
Yeah, the YouTube,
going a little bit slow. So
the
we'll
YouTube
go.
runs a little bit lag, but I think we fixed it so there's no echo. Awesome.
Okay. Yes, look, I'm still down there on YouTube.
We just won't look at that one.
We're not gonna look at it, but thank you all for joining us today. Thank you, Jennifer, most of all, like for making the effort, like to come here and present us with like this information and educate us all on like the stages of the moon and everything that's going on. I myself just got a book that helped me keep everything that Jennifer is teaching me because there's so much information on like the moon and the faces and like involved and mascara and everything that's going on that it's been a little bit I'm gonna be honest, it's been a little bit overwhelming like to take everything in, but I'm loving it.
It is, it's very, and that's part of what I'm building a website slowly but surely. And that's part of what my website is going to be about, with little classes and bite-sized pieces so that people can get a feel for what really talks to them, what really speaks to their spirit and their heart, and pursue that. As it is right now, New Age, Neo-Pagan, Witch, however you want to call it, there's so many levels. Like you said, there's the moon, there's astrology, there's crystals, there's herbs, there's spell work, there's the holidays, there's the psychic abilities, all the divination.
And my brain's just like,
yeah.
Let's do it all.
Yeah, and it can be overwhelming because you end up a little bit like chasing the shiny thing, you know, and if you only spend 5 minutes here and there, you don't really get the richness of what it is that you're looking into. So that's going to be the purpose when I finally get my website up and going.
Oh, and she has amazing things going on her website because
Go ahead.
okay, she's actually gonna have spell work on her website for those of you that are interested. And let me show you a little sample of what she has going on. So she's gonna tell you the actual spell with everything included that we need to make the spell. And she's gonna have one ready for us for next week, which is Ostara. So keep looking up on our Instagram. We're gonna have all that information down there of what she's doing. It's a protect. It's a no. This is an abundance or
yeah. Ostara will go ahead and do abundance, and I'll have to decide. We might do a few variations of abundance. So we might do one. This is actually a money and wealth spell that I did last week. So I did an energy class because remember, if all you do is pour the stuff in a bowl and mix it up, all you're doing is mixing a recipe. You have to do the energy work to make the spell work. And since last time my class was energy work, everybody got the spell after they did the energy work. We talked about how to charge it, how to build it, and do it. And because it's wealth and prosperity, it actually, they shouldn't be doing it until this week. And we'll get into that a little bit more when we talk about the moon. Stay on topic with the spells. We'll do abundant spells because of Ostara, which is what happens on the 20th. It's part of the wheel of the year. And if you go to Chrome's Corner on Instagram, my Instagram is linked on all the full moon stuff. I have the wheel of the year, and I run through it very briefly on my site and explain it all. But the holiday that we're coming up on is Ostara on March 20th. And that is an astrological event, not agricultural. There's 8 events on there, 4 astrological, 4 are agricultural. Yeah. And it is actually an equinox. And what that means, there's 2 of them a year. That is our spring equinox, and it is a day when you have equal hours of daylight and nighttime. So everything is in balance. It's an equal time. And it is the change from the dark part of the year up until that hour. Nighttime has always been longer until you get to the equinox. And then from the equinox forward, daytime is longer and nighttime is shorter. So it is the light time of the year when there's more light. And it is the prosperous growing time of the year.
And it goes right into our calendar because on the 14th, which is Sunday, we have the time change, but on the 21st, sorry, on the week, 2 weeks later, the time change begins in UK and Germany. So these are like world events, and this just taken kind of like to the middle of it. And we have so much contradicting information that it's hard to like, where do I get this information from? Where am I? What am I learning? And why are these things contradicting each other? Which is what I was talking to Jennifer about earlier, which is where I posted something earlier that said, hey, the new moon is the powerful moon, and it's that. So Jennifer's like, no, the moon's always powerful. It's just in different phases. And this is where we pick off on our topic for today, which is moon phases. Like, tell us, what does each moon bring, and why are we here today?
Okay.
I don't know why I'm here.
Real quick, we
Okay.
will go one more time. I'm going to make, Michelle is going to be our bright shining sun, and I will be the moon. And right here, my fist will be the earth. I know, so it's above the camera. My fist would be the earth. So in this particular format, where she is on that side, and then as the sun, here's the earth, and I am the moon, her light will reflect off of me, the moon, onto here, the dark side of the earth, and you have a full moon. So everything is in alignment for the full moon, and the reflection of the light comes back to the earth in the face. Now, if we switch it around and we make, Michelle's going to still be the sun, we're going to make my hand the moon, and I'm going to be the earth. So my head's the earth. Then this is the new moon format. So the sun and the moon are in the sky quite often during the day at the same time, if you look it up on an app. And the sun, the reflection doesn't bounce off. Everything is still in a line. You still have the energy, but it looks like there's no moon in the sky because the dark side of the earth over here, where it's nighttime, over here where it's nighttime, there's no moon and there's no sun, so it's a dark sky. It's the new moon time. So they're both powerful because everything is lined up and all the energy is flowing in a line, but the perception of it's different because of how the lineup happens, right? So it's not that one's more powerful than the other. It has to do with what happens at those points in time.
Yes, it just has different powers at different times, right? Like,
yeah,
one is for different things, which is what Jennifer's about to explain to you before I interrupt her. Okay, so teach me, ma'am.
Okay.
Teach me the way.
So the full moon, when you see the full light on the full moon is actually the end of the moon cycle, right? The moon has become completely full. It is a completion. It is the fullness of things. That's, I would like to have an alliteration to help me think of it. So the full moon is the fullness, right? And after the full moon, the moon starts getting smaller in the sky. This is called the waning moon. And it's a time of reduction. So it's a time when if you were going to do work, you would do work on decreasing things. You might clean out your closet.
Okay.
It might be the time to get rid of relationships that aren't serving you. It would be
let go.
Yeah, it'd be a time to let go of things. It might be the perfect time to start a diet, right? You can reduce your food intake to reduce yourself. But it's a reduction time. It's a good time to review your life plans and what you have going on and decide what has not been working and let it go, right? Maybe you had this one particular plan and it just wasn't turning out, but over here was really killing it. So you know you're going to let that go during the waning time. So there's lots of ways to look at it, but waning is a reduction. And that I think, I didn't see the post that you were talking about that did that, but I think that's probably what they were getting at. After the full moon is actually about a reduction and a lessening of things. So, and people sometimes get confused by that. Now, of course, after the moon reduces all the way down to the dark moon. The dark moon is a period of time that's 21 to 26 hours when there appears to be no moon at all in the sky because it is not reflecting any of the light. The angles and the geometries, which is, I'm not an engineer, that's out of my realm, doesn't reflect any of the sun's light, so there appears to be nothing at all in the sky. The dark moon time is a time to do some really crazy, powerful work. That's also a time when it's very specific, right? It's only 21 to 26 hours. You've got a pretty short window there. I would say for most of you, you don't need to worry about that too much. It's knowledge to have like Trivial Pursuit, and you can set that aside for now.
I love useless knowledge. I love useless knowledge. So I have it right here on the.
There you go. There you go. If you pursue the path, it's useful and you can come up with times to use it. But for now, just know that the dark moon is a very specific period of time. After the dark moon, when that first sliver of light shines down the moon again, and you can see that very tiny sliver there, that is the beginning of the new moon. And that's the time when the moon starts to grow. And that's an increasing time. So that's called the waxing moon. And I always like to remember waxing is maxing, right?
Okay.
When you're maximizing things are growing, things are building, things are doing. And that's a time when you really would ride that energy and push forward and build things. You want to double down on your exercise schedule, on your work schedule, on your planning and commitment, and ride that energy right on into your life, into those times. So it's a time when you would energize and increase and build immediately after the new moon.
Okay.
So we have those two cycles. They happen about 14 days after each other. So it's a 28-day, 29-day cycle. And it's every 14 days. Full moon and then new moon, full moon and then new moon.
Okay.
And it can be very powerful if you put that into your life very simply by looking at the new moon's about to come. I need to start to review my plans in my life and decide what I want to let go, what I want to build more of. Use it as a time of review, reflection, and building knowledge, building some skills. Then you come around to the full moon, and that's the time when you double down, you hit it really hard. You go jump into what you're doing and really, really power through whatever your goals, your manifestations, your dreams, your practices that you want to build up. And like I said, it can be a spiritual thing, esoteric events, and it can also be, simple, straightforward stuff like a diet, like cleaning out your house. Use it as a schedule bit. These are the 2 weeks when I'm cleaning out closets, and these are the 2 weeks when I'm selling the stuff on eBay, right? You can cycle right through, and if you just use those 2 14-day rotations, you will see remarkable increase in all the things in your life, and the abundance that you build in, because you're always taking time to review and digest and reset what you're doing, and then attack it again with some more energy. Because we can't go 100% all the time, right? So if you know you're going to hit it really hard for those 2 weeks, and then take a breath and review it all, it helps you cycle back and forth, and it can just really be a powerful practice.
I love that because I tend to go like the 100%, 100 until I burn out. And that's awful because I do power through maybe for like a month, but then it takes me like 2 or 3 weeks to get back into
So you
like
want to get back, and,
yes.
and how do you feel that 2 or 3 weeks while you're trying to recover?
Useless.
And you punish yourself.
Right. I'm mad at myself,
yes.
like I'm hard on myself for even resting.
And that doesn't do any good. You want to have a more reasonable balance at it. And that's the whole world. All of nature works that way, right? There's a time when the plant is growing, there's a time when it's flowering, and there's a time when it's all rested.
Right.
And with all things in life, it's like that, and we need to, it's a little bit of an American culture thing, like, I'll sleep when I'm dead, right? What's the purpose there? Relax, it's okay. If you,
Girl, sleep is good. Like, we love sleep.
yeah, I'm not Pisces, I'm all about the dreaming. But it's a really good way to get some balance in it, and then you know there's this time. When you reach the end of that 14 days where you're pushing really hard, you can push that last 2 or 3 days because you know where the finish line is, that you're gonna back off the accelerator a little bit, and you're not wasting your time. You're still going to review what you did, what worked, what didn't work, what wasn't fulfilling the purpose, and adjust the whole plan so that when you attack it all again, it's bigger, better, stronger, right?
I love it. Okay, and so now that we've gone through the moon phases and we kind of learned a little bit, let's you have tarot reading today, and
Yeah.
she's actually gonna read my card live. We are whatever the cards want you all to know, the cards are gonna tell us. So we're gonna go live and actually do a reading and tell us a little bit about the reading that you have for the new moon.
Okay, well, let's do a few things here. First of all,
Okay.
for those of you who've never seen or been involved with a tarot reading, you're going to get an idea a little bit about how it works for me. Realize that all tarot readers are different. They have different rules and different standards, and they'll usually tell you what they are when you first sit down. They'll have a minute to talk with you. So in my case, I don't do readings that have to do with health or legal issues because I am not a doctor or a lawyer. Okay, but
Although we do love doctors and lawyers.
yes, we love, and we should go to them for the
Yes.
things that we need. So those are some of my personal rules.
Okay.
And usually a tarot reader will have some sort of ethics, some list of things that they will or won't do for you, that they are or are not interested in partaking. And that's something to understand. It's an energy exchange, it's a personal exchange when you do a reading. So it's important for a reader to have some boundaries. So keep that in mind when you go in for a reading. Now, in my case here, I brought 2 of my decks. So I'm going to let her choose a deck. Sometimes the reader will have several decks, sometimes they have one that they're working with that day, and either way, should be fine. So I'll let you can go from the back or go from whatever. Like that one. Okay. That's the one that's a little easier it's easier for people to digest.
Okay. All right, y'all.
So
you're about to know what my luck is. Which cards are you using? Is the card I got.
The deck that I'm going to use here is the Shadowscapes Tarot deck. And after we're done with the reading, I'll come up and show you guys the cards. Each one. It's a really beautiful deck. It is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith system of tarot, which is the one most people would be familiar with. My other deck there is the Thoth deck. So it's the one most people are familiar with. It is a very beautiful, dreamy, gentle, loving deck. It is a really beautiful deck. My other deck is kind of
I love the energy that the certain decks bring.
yes.
That's why when you all get decks, for those of you that are reading, there are going to be certain decks that call you, like they call your energy. Those are meant for you. That's the energy that you have.
Yeah. That's right. I definitely say when you're busy looking at what deck you want to go to a YouTube channel that walks through the whole deck and make sure that it really speaks to you, that none of the cards bother you. And you can certainly buy your own deck. This nonsense about you have to have it gifted or find it or whatever. Go buy your own deck. I bought all except for one of my tarot decks, and they work just fine.
Guys, and this is like when people are like, okay, don't buy a move because you don't know how to move. But guess what? I'm gonna learn how to move because I'm gonna take time. And that's what the deck is. And when we do the full moon batches, a lot of our tarot readers are novice readers, and this is where they get started. Why? Because we need practice, and the more that you move, the more that you read the deck, the more that you study, like how do I need to move my ways, how do I need to do this. That's what the tarot card readers are doing but for tarot readings. And so that's why a lot of the prices when you come to the new moon bath, to the full moon bath, are a little bit lower is because these girls are novices. But once you get an experienced reader, somebody who knows what they're reading, now you have a different experience and results, and they're better at reading the cards, so they're going to be charging a little bit more to maybe work that deal. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we're doing a new moon reading here, and what I chose to do is a 3-card spread where I'm going to give you the strength, the weakness, and the action to take on your question. We have a new moon, so we're going into a time of increasing, and I would say, what is something that you want to manifest, gain, increase um, in the coming month, or even over the summer if you want to go long term.
Okay. I think in the coming months, I'm looking into like my businesses. So I've been expanding. I'm through entrepreneur. Of course I am. And I would like my reading to be based on that.
On business. Okay.
On
So we're going to be based on business, and then we're going to, since we're just doing 3 cards, I'm going to ask you to narrow it down a little bit. Are you looking for general guidance on your business, specific expansion question, business changes?
Yes.
We're going to put a few more qualities.
I want to know what direction or things that I need to move forward so that I can expand the entrepreneur book. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to look specifically into expanding and increasing your membership in the Entrepreneur Book Club. Would that be a safe way to?
Yes.
All right. And so you see there, that's another part of being a tarot reader, is that I want to make sure I have a really good question here. You can come in and tell me, oh, I don't know, just find something. Well, that's kind of what kind of answer you're going to get also. If I don't have some specific information to build from, I can't give you specific answers. So if you're someone who comes in and you're like, well, let me just guess at this, let me test you.
And I have 2 questions.
Okay.
One is a comment, a card a day keeps the doctor away. And then somebody said, are card readings more accurate when you have a short-term goal or a long-term goal, or does it not matter?
It doesn't necessarily matter. I would say if you're going to do a long-term goal, you're usually going to end up with more than 3 cards, because we're doing a 3-card reading here. And the long-term goal has a lot of variables in it. One of the things you need to understand about tarot cards is they're not predicting the future. What they're going to give you is a picture of where you are, some information about the situation that you're involved in, and some ideas on where to go with it. So it refines what you think you know. A lot of times it might give you information, maybe you deal with Becky at work, and Becky annoys me so much. Well, if you come and get some information about Becky, you might find that what you're perceiving as annoyance is actually she's very nervous around you because she admires you. So that might be something that the tarot cards tell you. So they might give you some insight into the situations that you're involved in. But tarot doesn't predict the future, because you step outside today and you make different decisions. You're going to make choices, you're going to make decisions, you're going to choose things about your path, and that'll change what I told you.
I'm gonna go to
just this
sleep
minute.
instead of reading my book, and then the book club isn't gonna move forward.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a give and take. It's an interplay of information and action and behavior. If that helps a little bit for that. And the card today keeps the doctor away. That's great. That's a wonderful way to learn, is drawing a card each day. I know people who draw it in the morning and journal. I know people who draw it in the morning and just look at it, and then get home and journal about what the card meant and what the card said about their day. And something else to remember is my cards and the universe talk to me. We have our own communication. So I'll pull a card and it will say something different to me than it might say to Michelle, than it might say to some of the other readers that we have here, because my deck and the universe, we've worked out a communication, and the cards will mean different things to different readers. Not way outside. They're not going to be completely off the wall, but it's going to have a different nuance, a different feeling, and it's also going to, all the cards interact with each other and say things. So the card might say one thing today when it's right and left cards are different than they are tomorrow. That is an awesome way to say that.
It makes sense to me. I know that because we carry different energies.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right.
I'm gonna write this down. So just to show you all my new book, once she finishes, it is The Witch's Almanac. Don't know where it'll show up on my book. And it gives me a rundown of exactly all of a lot of holidays that are related to the moon or to, it's not so awful to say witches, but no, the witches, almanac, like what is related to them. I really like this almanac, and we have it here available at City Girl. If any of you are interested in doing that, and it's telling me we have Albert Einstein's birthday tomorrow. But let's go with the new moon. I want my message.
Okay, so we have our first card pertaining to her book club and building conditions in it, and we have strength, weakness, and action. So our first card under strength is the Fool card, and I will show you guys what we have here. We have a few screens, so hold on a second while that's the Fool of the Shadowscapes deck.
The Fool.
The Fool card, and the Fool card itself, just as a general idea. I don't know what camera you.
It's just delayed on me.
Oh, okay.
But it'll show. That's
Right.
the perfect.
Sorry, YouTube people, if I got it bad. So the Fool card, it's about stepping into new beginnings. So this is a whole new venture for you.
Yeah.
The book club, and it shows about being brave. And so your strength on all this is that you are very brave. You're very good at leaping out into the ether and taking a chance and taking a risk and doing what needs to be done. You need to look higher than the horizon, is what I'm getting from this. And we'll see how that pertains when we get the next couple of cards. There were a few other impressions of that. So the weakness, your weakness card, and this is the hardcore weakness card, is the Devil. So the Devil card on the Shadowscapes deck looks like this. And it's a really beautiful card. And the Devil card, as a weakness, is about being controlled by something. Okay, so I pulled another card for clarification, and I got the Two of Cups. So you are being swayed and pulled and driven in different directions by partners in this program. And I would say, well, we'll see what our action card says and see if we need more clarification. I feel like you need to make sure when your intuition, when your gut is really telling you that this is the way to go, and other people are saying, but, ignore that. Turn it off and say, that's wonderful. I'm really thankful for your idea, and I'll take note of it. Right now, this is the way we're going. And hold fast with your plan and your vision, because some other people are tussling and pulling you and trying to drive other ideas. The word that pops into mind is their agenda, but I don't know that it's that nefarious. They're trying to drive some of their own ideas, and that's not going to get you where you need to be. All that working, making sense?
That's making sense.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And our third card, our action card, is the Four of Cups. And I get very much with the Four of Cups card here, a lot of what I just said, that you really need to stick to your dream.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stick to your interests, drives, desires, what your intuition is telling you is part of the program that you're building.
Okay.
Because your dream is what's going to build that.
I can see that. So I can see that. I guess because I'm featuring the coaches and it's new, I've been kind of going with like the ideas of the flow, and I guess what it's telling me is to go with the ideas of my flow of where I see it. And I honestly, guys, I see this as a retire, like the book club, the direction that it's going is it's a retirement. And it's a retirement, it's somewhere where I can like retire and I see myself doing this like for the next year. Whereas maybe when I opened up the spa, I didn't see myself doing this spa for a long time, for long term. Like, even if it's grown and if it kept going, like I just didn't see myself like when I started, I was doing the treatments and running everything. I didn't see myself doing that, and I've actually been trying to lean out of it. And although the natural products are amazing and I love them, and I do see myself also like retiring with the product, I still see the spa as like was my income earner. Like that was my breadwinner. And so I'm trying to work to where the book club will eventually be that what the spa was for me. Like this was like a stone like for my income. And that's where I'm growing it, and that's where I'm seeing it venture out.
And how. So I pulled another clarification card, and the card I get off of that is the Two of Pentacles, which is about what do you see happening? Because we have the Fool here, which is usually kind of a jester. So we still have the jester, and what's the jester doing?
It's playing with money.
Yes.
Okay.
The jester is juggling some money.
Okay.
But doesn't have. The jester's juggling money in the air, and there's money going on, and there's money flowing around, but it is not coming in, and it's not money that the jester has control of.
Okay.
So pull another card. Let's see what we can get you for that. And she got the Ten of Pentacles, which, okay. Nice. So again, it's verifying for me exactly what I've been telling you. That you do have a I don't want to say plan. Plan doesn't feel right. You have the capabilities, the skills, and the knowledge to create the wealth that you're seeking. The Ten of Pentacles. Pentacles are the earth signs, and they're very often about money, but they can also be about mundane things here. So they have to do with career, money, lots of different things. In this case, since we're talking about business, it has to do with your business and the wealth of your business. And the Ten of Pentacles, you kind of have, she's holding all the gold, and the dragon's guarding her in the gold.
Okay.
And they have, I always think of the dragon in the Lord of the Rings, and he's got a cave full of gold, right?
I love that
So,
card. It feels like that. I love that card.
So it's got the income, the gold. You have the ability to do it. It's there. I think with the Two of Pentacles, is him juggling this here. it isn't going to come about the way you see it.
Okay.
I think it will all be your vision. You have a plan, and over time, I think your plan is going to change and morph and redirect. Don't let people pull you off of that path with their ideas and their energy, because your dream is useful, even when there's a little bit of stress and fear involved in it. But I do get a feeling that you need to be prepared to pivot and change. Okay? That all work for you?
That works for me.
Okay.
And I'm really open to like morphing and changing and adapting. I mean, look at us navigating through COVID world, right? This used to be a live event and we're now virtual. So I can see that happening actually a lot. And we have to okay, so somebody asked, so the book club is fun, but is it the way you follow your heart? Yes. Yes, I love to read, I love to educate, not just myself, but others. I actually was going to be a teacher, but what I didn't like was the education. A little tough here in Texas, y'all. But I actually do love teaching and I love learning and I love reading. So this book club, like the nerd route, is definitely my route. These are my people. This is the energy I want to go. I like to surround myself by people who like to read. Because like yourself, you've read so much to get to where you're at. Like it impresses me. Like it's impressive. Like that's why I'm so impressed with you too. I'm like, she has read so much. Like she has so much knowledge up here, and it's amazing. Like the way they articulate themselves. Like they're so articulate in their speech. Like they can speak fast, and there's a lot of benefits like to reading that I want those benefits for myself. And maybe I did like my life as a single mom before. So reading was a luxury, guys. And now that I'm at the place where my kids are now like teenagers, actually grown now, now there's more time to read, and that makes me happy. Like that does bless my heart. So I'm definitely feeling like I like the direction that the book club is taking. I recommend it.
Very good.
All right, so we are done. If any of you are looking for a reading with Jennifer, reach out to us via DM and she will get back to you all. The readings don't have to be in person. She can do them virtually, and but if you do want them in person, reach out to us and we'll figure out a way to get you all to Hippie Girl. But for now, have a good day. And remember, this is the new moon. So, what is the message for the new moon?
The new moon, well, so the new moon, we turn into the new moon cycle. So it is a time of creation, building, doing, growing. So whatever your dreams and goals are, double down on, manifest it, get that plan going, ride the energy forward, and succeed. You can have it. All you have to do is believe it and work.
All right. I love that message. So, we'll see you all. Thank you all for joining us. Have a good day.
Bye, everybody. See you in a minute.
No, YouTube is delayed. There's 400 for interview. I'm trying to figure out how to get
Yeah, I don't know what you need
Okay,
to let
here
it
it
go.
is. Here we are live on YouTube. Okay, bye.